I've lived in the Philippines for my entire life. Growing up, my family and I went to Jollibee's all the time. I guess that's why I ended up working there when I got older. Jollibee's was a fast food restaurant that was notorious for its fried chicken. It was pretty similar to KFC. I only started working there so that I could save up for college. I figured since I liked the restaurant, it wouldn't be bad to work there. But I was very wrong. I absolutely hated it. Not necessarily because of the work itself, though the environment was pretty hostile. The customers were usually extremely demanding, and it was very fast-paced. That wasn't the main reason I hated the job, though. The problem was one of the other employees that I worked with. He was this older guy named John, and he was a total creep. Everyone thought so, especially the other women. Just being around him made me so uncomfortable. I like my poultry white or dark, especially the breast part. Apparently, John was married and had kids, which only made his behavior more disturbing. He would constantly hit on me and the other female coworkers. Mostly he would harass me and my work friend Grace. When he first started doing it, we figured he was just a lonely older guy and it was harmless. We were even pretty cordial with him at first. So much so that we'd even let him drop us off at our homes after a late shift. Neither Grace or I had a car, so it was actually pretty convenient. But as time went on, John became more and more creepy and started advancing way beyond simple flirting. That's when we decided to stop taking rides from him. It was just way too weird to be alone in a car with him. Both Grace and myself considered complaining to the boss, but we were afraid that John would do something if he found out that it was us, especially since he knew where both of us lived since he used to drop us off. John only got worse as time continued, though. Eventually, the harassment got so bad that I requested for Grace and I to start working mornings instead of nights. Unfortunately, the boss would only allow one of us to switch shifts as he had to make sure that there was still enough staff for nights. I hesitated at first, but decided to take the opportunity. I felt bad about leaving Grace to work with John, but I felt like I didn't have a choice. I had to do something. I really felt like a total asshole about it, though. Every time I clocked out, I had to see Grace uncomfortably take John's abuse and harassment as they came to clock in for the night shift.
You should start calling me Guya, or maybe Senpai if that makes things spicier.
One day, I finally got fed up with it. I had just gotten through an incredibly stressful shift and I was not in the mood for any more of his disgusting behavior, so I decided to let him have it.
What the hell is wrong with you, you creep? Leave her alone. What, you're such a disgusting piece of shit that your own wife hates you, so you have to take it out on us?
I barely even knew what I was saying, but it felt so good to finally tell the jerk how I was feeling. He didn't take it well, though. At first, he just glared at me as I yelled at him. But then, all of a sudden, he snapped. He began charging at me.
You stupid bitch! I'm gonna deep fry your ass!
The next thing I knew, he grabbed me by the collar and started screaming in my face. The other employees came and managed to drag John off of me. He was sent home for the day to cool off. I couldn't even believe what just happened. I'd known that he was a creep, but after that, it seemed like he was a total psycho. What made it worse was that he only got sent home for a day as punishment. He was allowed to come back to work the next day and just had to apologize to me. I couldn't believe that he didn't get fired. Then one day, everything got so much worse. As I clocked out after my shift, I noticed that only John was coming in for the night. Grace was nowhere to be seen. I just assumed she was sick and shrugged it off. But then Grace didn't come in the next day, or the day after that. In fact, she didn't show up for a few days, nor was she answering anyone's calls or texts. Then, what made it more disturbing was that her mother actually showed up and asked where she was. Everyone tried to contact her, but there was no reply. She was reported missing not long after her mother showed up. I had no idea what could have happened to her, but I noticed that John didn't seem to be too upset about it. Then, several days later, Grace's remains were found a few miles away. Her mother confirmed that it was her due to her distinctive dyed hair. I was absolutely devastated. Then I found out something even more terrifying. John's own wife called the police and told them that she suspected that he was behind the murder. After police questioned him, John turned himself in and admitted that he had done it. He was arrested and charged with murder. I've been traumatized ever since. I know that I was so close to it being me had I not changed my shift, but at the same time, I felt sick about changing it too. If I had been there with Grace during the night shift, then maybe all of this could have been prevented.